Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Pam, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review celebrity legal news, celebrity news, and pop culture chats. Also, happy New Year! Happy New Year to you all. Also, within the new year comes some changes. What changes do you ask? All of my movie and television reviews are going to be on my second channel. And so, if you are so inclined, please go to my second channel, PETV underscore reacts. I will do all my movie and television reviews. I will be alerting you all to let you know on my post here on Pam Entertainment TV to let you know when I post on that channel. I've posted 2 videos so far on that channel, so go check those out. Hello there, Q's Not a Robot. I hope you've had a wonderful new year. We're about to get into it. We're about to get into it, y'all. As I'm trying to eat my black eyed peas and keep my house clean and all this other stuff for the New Year's, why is it that I see that your favorite law sewer is in the news again, and there is a completely total different lawsuit out here, y'all. So let me just kind of update you because you're going to start seeing some of these things coming on my channel. I am going to go over the Derek Dixon versus the Tyler Perry. There has been some updates on that. Also, Tyler Perry, going towards the end of 2025, he was also sued twice by a young man named Mario Rodriguez. I don't have that lawsuit yet, but once I get that lawsuit, baby, I'm going to let y'all know what's going on. But right now we are here because apparently Drake and Adin Ross have been sued, and apparently they are viewing this as a RICO. Child. Let me first. I want to do this. Here's an Instagram post about it. Drake and Adin Ross hit with a new lawsuit for promoting steak. So that is the Instagram post about it. There are a couple of different things. Let me share this screen. This is hip hop news. Uh Drake and Adin Ross and Steak hit with another class action gambling RICO lawsuit. And here it is on, what is this? Dex Erto. Drake and Adin Ross hit with the second lawsuit against Steak over gambling promos. So let's read. Let me go back to the hip hop article because I've used their information before. All right. So Drake and Adin Ross and Steak hit with another class action and gambling RICO lawsuit. And as you all come in, please make sure you all hit that thumbs up of that like button and also subscribe. All right. It's written by Gabrielle Bras Navarez. So this is the third lawsuit against Drake, Steak, and Adin Ross, and alleges that they're using tips to artificially boost Drizzy's music. This is interesting. Drake may be working on his highly anticipated new solo album, Iceman, but he has some legal troubles to deal with along the way. Kick streamer Adin Ross, and online gambling platform Stake have reportedly been hit with another class action lawsuit, specifically a federal RICO this time around, for alleged illegal gambling promotions. According to Lauren LaRosa on her Twitter, the lawsuit alleges that the co-defendants, along with George Nguyen, have been using Stake's tipping feature to give each other money. The RICO accuses them of using that money to artificially boost Drizzy's music streams across major distribution platforms and digital streaming services. Now, isn't this interesting? This is the same man that sued UMG for inflating Kendrick Lamar's numbers and all of these things like that. But would you look at here? He's being sued for the thing that he said somebody else did. In addition, through Stake's tipping function, defendants have financed their combined artificial streaming botting to create fraudulent streams of Drake's music, fabricate fabricate popularity, disparage competitors and music label executives, distort recommended algorithms, and distribute financing for all of the foregoing. While concealing the flow of funds, the two plaintiffs reportedly alleged in the filing. Furthermore, the lawsuit claims that the Toronto superstar knowingly and willingly allowed for his alleged conspirators to mask encrypted transfers as giveaways, widely unavailable to the public. In addition, it alleges that a $100,000 K tip transfer between Ross and the Six God in 2023. It also brought up Drake's 2024 Drizmas giveaway stream with Adin Ross as an example of the co-defendants allegedly cycling through tips among themselves to fuel botting and paid engagement tactics. All right, so that is what they are reporting. So, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the lawsuit. And give me one moment. Let me pull it up. Because that's what's important. It is 22 pages. It was filed on December 31st. And here we have it. In the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Virginia. So we have the Alexandria Division. This is, we have LaShawna Ridley and Tiffany Hines. They are considered to be stake U.S. users within the United States, individually and on behalf of all other similar situations. Now, here's what's interesting to me, because the article talked about RICO. And I thought that the only people that can bring up a RICO charge is the U.S. government. So I am confused in the wording of that. But this looks like a class action civil lawsuit against Drake and them. Again, I my understanding is that the United States government was the ones that can file a RICO charge, not necessarily two individuals. And these are two individuals from the United States of America that were using the stake.us app. All right. The class action complaint. Plaintiffs LaShawna Ridley and Tiffany Hines, by and through their attorneys, bring this action individually and on behalf of all others similarly situated against defendant Sweepstakes Ltd, doing business as Stake.us, Aubrey Drake Graham, professionally known as Drake, and Adin Ross, who will be known as Ross, and George Nguyen or Nugent as Nugent, collectively the defendants. Plaintiffs make the following allegations upon information and belief, except those allegations as to the plaintiffs or their attorneys, which are based on personal knowledge. This consumer class action seeks to stop Stake.us, an illegal online gambling platform promoted by Drake, Ross, and Nugent, and used by Drake, Ross, and Nugent to obscure transmissions of money in furtherance of their ongoing music botting campaigns, from continuing to prey upon consumers and to impose civil penalties on all defendants to deter future misconduct. Stake.us, a U.S. storefront for Stake.com, has been operating as one of the largest and most profitable illegal online casinos since 2022. Now, I will say this in regards to Drake. Drake is a Canadian citizen. However, he does have residences here in the United States of America. Adin Ross, I believe he lives out in California, and I am unsure of who the George Nguyen or Nugent lives. Stake.us was created and marketed to US consumers as a social casino that purportedly does not permit real money gambling to bypass applicable United States federal and Commonwealth of Virginia gambling regulations. And you remember the last lawsuit they had, I think that they were being sued by the state of, they were being sued by a Stake.us user in Missouri. Attempting unsuccessfully to hide behind the facade of a safe and free gambling experience, Stake.us misrepresents itself to regulators and consumers. In reality, it operates as an illegal online casino. Do y'all play on Stake.us? Hello, hello. Hello, hello. I don't know what that means. I'm only in the third grade. Stake.us offers nearly 2,000 casino games and permits players to place bets using specialized casino chips and to cash out their winnings. Stake.us offers two types of virtual currency: gold coins and stake cash. Gold coins have no monetary value and cannot be converted into real money. However, stake cash can be redeemed for cryptocurrency or digital gift cards at a rate of $1 stake cash to one United US dollar. $1 United States. Stake.us bundles every purchase of gold coins with stake cash. Thus, when a player purchases gold coins to engage in casino games, they are also purchasing stake cash. If a player is lucky and wins, they can cash out their stake cash for cryptocurrency. Is that Bitcoins? But if a player loses their stake cash and wishes to continue gambling, they must buy more worthless gold coins, which will be bundled with more stake cash. Defendants Drake and Ross are paid by Stake to promote the platform. The two have engaged in live streamed gambling, wagering large sums of money that was provided surreptitiously by Stake. In other words, though Drake and Ross purported to be gambling with their own stake cash, it was in fact provided to them by the house. And that is what the other lawsuit mentions as well, the one in Missouri. You don't gamble? Okay. I'll play the lottery every now and then, but that's about it for me. Through these and other promotions, Stake has bombarded consumers with advertisements appearing on social media platforms depicting its games as safe, legal, and fun. But these casino games are illegal in Virginia and throughout the United States and have inflicted harm on consumers across the Commonwealth who have lost real money chasing gambling whims on the Stake platform. So it sounds like you can purchase the gold coins, or you can do um, a 1-to-1 ratio to buy the stake cash. And if you get enough stake cash, you can cash that in and get bitcoins or whatever other cryptocurrency. I'm assuming that's the cryptocurrency that they're talking about. Defendants Drake, Ross, and is that Nugent, have also made use of Stake, including throughout its U.S. storefront, Stake.us, to directly transfer money between and among themselves using Stake's tipping program, an unlimited and wholly unregulated money transmitter that appears to exist outside the oversight of any financial regulator. Defendants have utilized Stake's tipping program to inter alia transfer gambling proceeds wagers through on the Stake Pro platform. I'm wondering, are they meaning that are they saying that they are using the us.com site to transfer, or I wonder, are they using the stake.com site? Because again, Drake is not a US citizen. So I don't know if it's legal in Canada or not to use the online gambling site. So I'm just a little confused in regards to that. But from what the article is saying, that they're using this particular site, the stake.us site, to do this. At the heart of the scheme, Drake, acting directly and through willingly and knowledgeable co-conspirators, has deployed automated bots and streaming farms to artificially inflate play counts of his music across major platforms. Now, this is what's interesting to me. I'm wondering how this is happening, such as Spotify. These inauthentic streams, injected via interstate digital pathways, were calibrated to mislead royalty and recommendation engines, manufacture popularity, and distort playlists and charts, and divert both value and audience attention. In tandem, this manipulation has suppressed authentic artists and narrowed consumers' access to legitimate content by undermining the integrity of curated experience. So basically, are they saying that Drake and Adin Ross are giving each other tips, and then they're using these tip money to purchase music to inflate the number of is that what they're saying? Stake.us users to user tipping and encrypted internal transfer mechanism have fueled and enabled payments to bot operators and amplifiers to be hidden from public or regulatory view. So they're using that tip money that they've cashed out to pay for the bots that are inflating the numbers on Spotify. One example of a publicly documented large value tip is a $100,000 tipping transfer between defendants Drake and Ross in 2023. In December 2024, Drake gave away large sums of money in partnership with Ross and Stake as part of his Drizmas giveaway. These tips and many others like them cycled among defendants Drake, Ross, and Nguyen, I think is Nugent, underwriting, botting, and paid engagement campaigns. Days before the filing of this complaint, defendant Drake gave defendant Ross a $220,000 car as a gift. Stake.us platforms designed which mask counterparties and camouflages withdrawals as generic transaction, stymie scrutiny, and obstruct tracing of illicit proceeds. Tipping proceeds and other transfers on and from stake.us went directly or indirectly from defendant Drake to, through, or with the knowledge and assistance of defendant Ross, and on from there to defendant Nugent. Nugent served as a facilitator and operational broker, alternately converting stake-based cryptocurrency to cash or receiving cash from stake-transferred cryptocurrency proceeds. From there, Nugent interface with bot vendors, supervise coordinated amplification strategies, and integrated paid clipping campaigns. So let me see if I get this right. So let's say that Drake uploads $100,000 into his for stake cash. He then takes that stake cash and he transfers it to Ross via stake.us's tipping um platform where you can tip. So he tips him $100,000. Then Ross is able to cash out that tipping, to cash out that tip into real cryptocurrency cash. And with that, and I'm assuming that he gets this money or whatever to Nugent, and then Nugent would then provides or pay for bot vendors to inflate the numbers of Drake's streams on Spotify. So he hires a so it's like Drake gives the money to Ross. Ross then turns around and gives the money to Nugent. And then Nugent takes the money and pays bot vendors, and he supervises and he coordinates all of this. He pays them to then amplify the numbers of any of Drake's songs that he has out at the time. Yeah, me too. When the money is big, I don't either. I don't even like going to the casino like that, because if I've gone to the casino the couple of times, I like the penny slots, so I can have 100 pennies and only lose $1. I don't play those tables. I don't do anything like that. That seems like too big of a stuff, and that type of gambling is not fun to me. But I'll play the lotto. I can put $2 down on a number to see if I win. And those for me are okay. The clipping campaigns were facilitated through the clipping service and affiliated networks on the X, formerly Twitter, Discord, and Kick platforms. Kick, in turn, is a betting platform financially underwritten by the founders of Stake. Public posts, chat logs, leak communications, and other records document Nugent's direct handling of funds through multiple payment platforms. Orchestration of narrative surges and amplification alongside, and is an instrument of Drake and Ross. Now, what I'm hearing what they're saying, but we have not. We're just on page 5, but I'm trying to figure out how that is affecting the two plaintiffs. All right. Plaintiffs and the class are Stake.us users who have been misled by Stake.us misrepresentations that Stake.us is a legal, harmless, and safe gaming site, when it is in fact not legal, not harmless, and not safe. Stake.us preys on consumers in Virginia and nationwide who are lured into a real money gambling, exposing consumers to substantial risk of gambling addictions and jeopardizing their and their family's financial well-being. Each of the plaintiffs was influenced to participate and to continue to participate after their initial participation on the state platform by the online promotional activities of defendant Drake, as viewed by each of the plaintiffs. Plaintiffs have been further damaged by the false marketing manipulations and abuse of defendant Drake, who, by his own public announcements, has been paid some 100 million per year to promote Stake, as well as defendant Ross and New. I'm saying Nugent, Gwen, who have participated directly in the marketing of Stake.us, as documented on their many online posts across multiple platforms, advertising and endorsing Stake. Plaintiffs assert claims under the Racketeering, Influence, and Corrupt Organizations Act, 18 U.S. Code, Section 1962 C through D, and the Virginia Consumer Protection Act, Virginia Code Section 59.1-196. Plaintiff seeks damages, treble damages under RICO, restitution and disgorgement, injunctive, and declaratory relief attorneys' fees and costs, and all of the relief deemed just and proper. This court has subject matter jurisdiction under 28 U.S. Code, Section 1332 D2, because the amount in controversy exceeds 5 million. Exclusive of interest and costs, members of the class are citizens of states different from any defendant, and plaintiffs are citizens of the Commonwealth of Virginia. This court also has subject matter jurisdiction pursuant to 28 U.S. Code Section 1331 because plaintiffs assert claims arising under RICO. And while we have that up here, so I Googled, and it says, as a result, plaintiffs can bring a RICO claim if they suffered a business or property harm, even if that harm is the result of a personal injury. So, as a plaintiff, if you're suing in a civil case, there is a way that you can sue under RICO. Good to know. Let's talk about the parties. And all that was that the court has jurisdiction in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Plaintiffs and the class of state.us users within the United States, including the Eastern District of Virginia, who during the relevant period were misled by the marketing practices of defendants and were induced to participate in unlawful gambling on the state platform. Plaintiffs and the class suffered substantial financial and economic harm as alleged herein. Defendant Sweepstakes Limited, doing business as Stake.us, is a Cyprus limited company with its principal place of business located at 28 Octavio 313 M Rania BLD, Lismasol CY 3105, Cyprus. Isn't that in Greece, around that area in Cyprus? Okay. Sweepstakes also operates a U.S. office at Preston Road in Dallas. So they're a Dallas company, the Stake.us. Though its website and brand, Stake.us, corresponding advertising and promotions, including targeted advertisements, Stake.us is intentionally conducts business in Virginia. So basically, through the website, they are participating in a lot of services here in the United States of America. So if you're in the United States of America and you get on your phone or your computer, you can pull up Stake.us, and I believe it is an app as well, and that you can begin playing. So if you're somebody in the United States and you feel like you've been harmed, you might want to join this lawsuit. Defendant Aubrey Graham, professionally known as Drake, is a Canadian domiciliary. At all relevant times, Drake engaged in nationally promoted live streams and financial promotions connected to State.us that reached this district and caused the others harm to class members residing within the district as described herein. Defendant Adin Ross is an online media personality and streamer who, at all relevant times, coordinated live streams and promotions on platforms accessible within the district, including streams featuring Stake.us, tipping while maintaining close relationships with Drake and Nugent relevant to the conduct alleged. Defendant George Nugent is, upon information and belief, an Australian national residing in New South Wales who at all times relevant operated or co-founded entities or ventures including Weekdays, Weekday Capital, and Clipping, and used online aliases including Grand Wizard. Nugent coordinated botting facilitation and paid amplification across US facing platforms and transacted in payments massed through stake.us and stake.com, including their tipping features in connection with the same. Now, isn't this man, this George Newen, isn't he somehow connected with and this is alleged, isn't he connected with DJ Academics? Isn't he the one running DJ Academics one of DJ Academics websites? Hold on. Just give me one moment, y'all. Yeah. Hold on. Right. Because he was exposed. You remember when Twitter started X, and the profile lets you know where you live, and I remember his name from that. So he is the one that operates DJ at Academics TV. This is what I'm reading right here. Meet the guy that runs at Academics TV. Real name George Nguyen. He is Vietnamese and calls himself Chat N-word. Grandivous Chat is backed up Instagram page to make his business legitimate. Okay. Because I don't know if you remember, maybe back in November or the last part of October, there was a big little scandal coming up where X exposed all these people, particularly if you were online, and people who were considered to be racist Trump supporters were people from overseas, where you had people starting gender wars. You find out they were over like in Nigeria and someplace. They were just exposing all of these websites. So these people weren't actually here in the United States of America. They were from different countries. You had Russia, you had Nigeria, you had Japan and China, you had all of these things. So all these people out here like bots and stuff, and they're out here causing confusion and confliction, particularly here in the United States of America. They're paid to do this by these bot farms, and these people are not in the United States of America. So I hope that other platforms will do that too. Let you know where these people are based from. But anyway, let's get back to the lawsuit. I knew that name sounded familiar because when I saw this New South Wales, I'm like, isn't that the guy from one of DJ Academics pages? But anyway, Defendant George Gwynn is, upon information and belief, an Australian national in New South Wales who, at all times relevant, operated or co founded entities or ventures, including Weekdays, Weekday Capital, and Clipping, and used online aliases, including Grand Wizard. Gwen is coordinated botting facilitations and paid amplification across U.S. facing platforms and transaction in payments massed through stake.us or stake.com, including through their tipping features. Stake.us has operated since at least 2022 on one of the largest and the most profitable illegal online gambling operations. While defendant Drake, Ross, and Nguyen promoted the illegal casino to consumers and enabled recruitment of the new American players. Stake.com is banned from operating in Virginia and indeed anywhere else in the United States. Stake.us was created by Stake.com founders to bypass such restrictions. Stake.us is almost identical to Stake.com, as both websites offer the same or substantially the same content, including online casino games such as slots, tables, and live dealer games. Additionally, both offer gold coins and stake cash. Stake.us encourages users to play the casino games advertised on its websites, and users are allowed to cash out for digital gift cards or cryptocurrency. Despite offering online casino games, Stake.us holds itself out in its terms and conditions as a platform that, quote, does not offer real money gambling and claims to, uh, quote, no purchase or payment is necessary to participate or play in the Stake.us games. The Stake.us homepage claims it provides the ultimate social, safe, and free gaming experience. However, these representations are misleading as players are encouraged to wager gold coins or stake cash. And you remember earlier it said that stake cash is considered a one-to-one exchange between the US dollar or some combination of both in the casino games, confusing consumers and believing that they are participating in harmless and free gaming when in fact they are participating in gambling. Here's how it works. Stake offers users two types of virtual currency, gold coins and stake cash. Gold coins do not have monetary value and are described by Stake as solely for entertainment purposes. Stake cash, on the other hand, can be cashed out at a one-to-one exchange rate for a US dollar and thus serves as the currency for which most bets are made. Users can buy gold coins or earn them through the various promotions, and Stake characterizes gold coins as the primary currency for casual gameplay. With each purchase of gold coins, however, Stake bundles a set quantity of stake cash, which has actual monetary value and is the true currency with which stake users place bets. Indeed, for every dollar spent on purchasing gold coins, Stake bundles a nearly equivalent amount of stake cash. So, for example, as of the date of this complaint, a user could purchase 200,000 gold coins and 20.5 $20.05 in stake cash for $20. The Stake.us platform allows users to play casino games such as roulette, virtual slot machines, which are pure games of chance. The outcomes of these games is determined by random number generators. Users may bet stake cash on these online casino games with the prospect of a large payout. Often many multiples of what was bet. Stakes virtual casino games involve no skill or strategy. Stake.us also features live dealer games, which is interesting. So stake.com features live dealer games, and the same dealers and the same games are in stake.us on that website. So both they're basically mirrors of each other. They just say as in the US, you can do gold coins or you can do the one-to-one ratio of the stake bucks to US dollars, whereas in Stake.com, you're actually just you're doing the same thing. You're using the dollars. I don't know if they use the gold coins. Stake.us also features live dealer games, which allow users to interact with human dealers and experience what it would be like to be at a land based casino while you're sitting comfortably at your home behind your computer screen and on your mobile device. Stakes live dealer games are filmed in a studio, and players may bet on the results. For example, the spin of a roulette wheel or the next blackjack card. Stakes live dealer games, like their counterpart in a brick and mortar casino games, are games of chance. Stake.us generates revenue for unwitting and often vulnerable American consumers, incentivizing Stake.us to continually deceive American consumers and regulators. Stake.us conducts an illegal gambling business within the meaning of 18 U.S. Code Section 1955, including by operating casino types wagering in violation of multiple state laws involving five or more persons in substantially continuous operation with substantial daily revenue. And now that I'm thinking about it, they probably are causing this to be a civil RICO. Not only do they have a lawsuit pending in Virginia, they also have a lawsuit alleging that basically the same thing in the state of Missouri. And you know they have them keep coming, and them drinks be so watered down. But hey, they were free. Oh me, oh me. Publicly filed civil enforcement and consumer actions across multiple states accused Stake.us of unlawful gambling operation, including this is what makes it the RICO. Minnesota filed in August 2025, South Carolina filed in August 4th, Massachusetts filed in May 23rd, Alabama filed May 23rd, Illinois filed in April 7th, California filed in February 14th. These allegations are pleaded not for the truth of any underlying claims, but to demonstrate Stake's role, intent, common purpose, and the predicate act, showing the continuity of racketeering activity within the last 10 years. So let's get down to B, the deceptive marketing practices and the role of Drake Ross in Gwen Nugent. We'll have to wait a minute. Let me see. Oh well, it's not giving it to me. In Gwen. Okay. Stake.com originally created as an online cryptocurrency casino that could be accessed, albeit unlawfully, by consumers in the United States by the use of a VPN, obscuring the user's true locations. Stake.com founder later developed Stake.us as an almost identical version of Stake.com to further entrench itself as an online casino platform in the United States of America. So it figured Those that were really truly trying to gamble, they were going to obscure their whereabouts by using a VPN. Then they figured, if we develop another website, another platform, and it's identical to the one that we have, it's not considered a gambling site per se because we already have the gambling site. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Stake.us advertised that it's a social casino offering a safe and free gaming experience. This misleading statement deceives consumers into believing that they are participating in harmless gameplay, when in fact they are being lured into real money gambling. Drake, Ross, and Nguyen have been zealous promoters of Stake. Drake has been paid, by his own admission, $100 million per year for his promotional services. Drake, Ross, and Nguyen have further incentive to promote and mask the true nature and extent of their conduct out on and around Stake. Since at least 2022, Drake and those actor under his direction, including Ross and Nguyen, have made use of Stake.com and Stake.us to covertly finance the orchestrated procurement of botting and streaming farm activities to artificially inflate the numbers of plays attributed to Drake's catalog across major digital streaming services such as Spotify. Stake.us facilitates this covert financing scheme through its user to user tipping and internal transfers that effectively obscure the identities of counterparts. Through these mechanisms, withdrawals are recorded merely as stake transactions, concealing their true origins and receipts. These transactional features enable the concealment, covert routing, and disbursement of funds to bot operators, intermediaries, and amplifiers integral to sustaining and expanding the artificial streaming and amplification of operations. So basically, as I said before, Drake will upload $100,000 on the app. Then he would take that $100,000 and he would tip Ross. Ross would then turn around and tip Nugent, and then Nugent would cash that money out. Once he cashed that money out, he used that money to be able to pay bot farms to help inflate the numbers of Drake's streams on Spotify and other musical platforms. Seems like since Drake versus Lamar, it's been Drake versus the world, and the wheelchair Jimmy been going through it. You like to gamble? So what is the draw for you at Bonnie V7696? What's the draw for you? Specifically, one Kick live stream captured exchange of $100,000 tip among Drake and Ross via Stake, with another instance evidencing a $10,000 tip. Additional stream recordings reveal reiterated substantial exchanges between Drake and Ross routed through Stake, with ongoing streams of funds on information and belief totaling in the millions of dollars. Amounts which, upon information and belief, have underwritten continued botting and amplification efforts. Just days before this complaint was filed, defendant Drake gifted a $220,000 car to defendant Ross. Payments between Drake and Ross extend beyond direct exchanges. Public records and leaked communications, oh my, leaked communications reveal intermediary transfers to bot vendors and logistic facilitators, including Nguyen, a known recipient of payments linked to clipping and amplification campaigns. And you know what this reminds me of? You all remember, what was that? Back in, what was that? Either August, July, August, September. You remember when those uh Young Thug tapes came out? And in one of those tapes, Young Thug says, "Do we have our contact?" Because he was talking about how Drake had gifted him some money and stuff like that. And then he said, "Do we have our contracts? Because I want to drop a song, but I want to make sure that we get like 30,000 hits or 30,000 something." It was something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing, but not. But when I heard that, it made me understand like some of these songs are not organic, because some of these songs are atrocious that have come out, whether they be rap songs, whether they be pop songs, R&B songs, whatever. I have seen songs that I have just looked at and they were just atrocious, but they got the numbers. And I would always say, well, it's a different generation, they like songs to sound like a certain way. But now we're starting to see that some of these songs have been inflated. Some artists have been, bots have been played to inflate the streaming numbers. And that's my issue with streaming. I think the best way that you can know whether or not an artist is moving the weight that they should weigh is if there are physical copies being sold. And I know that we have moved away from physical copies, but to me, that seems like the better bet. Right. Exactly. 90% of music nowadays are propped up by the artist paying for views and listens. And those things are, and then you have real artists that are out here promoting their stuff, but they're not paying for bots or anything like that. And their music, which organically is moving, but streaming services, you know, this is why we get a lot of mediocre talent. This is why we get a lot of mediocre stuff, because of the fact that they inflate their numbers by pushing down, to me, real talent across all genres. Across all genres. So you have a lot of these artists, and now I start thinking about all these artists that win the Grammys and they win all these different things. How are their numbers? How are the streaming services inflating their numbers? If they truly, truly go back and do stream for stream, I'm wondering, are these numbers authentic? It is, because nowadays when you think about music, and because they want you to pay to basically lease the music. That's basically what you're doing. So like when you have, like the program, because everything is getting to that point. You go to Apple or Spotify or wherever you're going, you pay the monthly service, you're just basically leasing the music. You're basically leasing the music, and you're not purchasing the hard, the copies or the down, you're purchasing your downloads. Because you remember when it used to be where you just couldn't, you just had to download it and you paid for the download. At least it was that copy, because you could burn a CD to go into your car or whatever. And that that wasn't that long ago, but I'm just saying that was the way music was. And you at least own that physical copy of music. Now you don't own a physical copy of music. And what's interesting is that you're still paying the same price. It's not cheaper. It's not cheaper. So if you look at you paying, because I think Apple is like anywhere from 8.99 or 10, I don't remember how much it was, but that's how much a CD was. A good CD cost you anywhere from 7.99 to 15.99. So but every month you're paying the equivalent of one CD to listen to all these different types of music, and particularly on Spotify. Spotify was supposed to be engaging so that the artists can download their music to there, and they can get, Spotify would be the distribution center and all that other stuff, and you pay them percentage. And what it seems like is happening is that Spotify is still gooping the artist, because if you're an artist and you put an album on, and let's say that your album, the total album, you have 10 songs, 4 minutes per song, so that's a 40-minute album. that album was getting like 20,000 I'm be getting 100,000 hits per month. And for some reason or whatever, there's a spike. So you went from 200,000 hits per month, and then one month you get a spike to where you got 350 to 400,000 things. They were taking away artists' page because they want to say that those are bots. However, you got Drake and them getting bot farms, so they're wanting to make sure that when that first week comes out, they have a certain amount of numbers. And they inflate those numbers probably for a month or 2 months, because I don't think that they pay these bots that much for these streams. However, those inflated numbers, because truly some of these you let me tell it, some of these folks and these artists and these songs, you should be only playing them one time, and that's it. That's a wrap for those songs. But they come out with these songs. You remember that last song that Young Thug put out? When all of these tapes and stuff was going on, when he was talking about Gunna and all these other people and what they did. That song was so poorly mixed and everything like that. It was rough. But it got a number of listens. Were those bots? Absolutely. All right, let's continue because let me see. I got about 30 more minutes we can spend on this. Payments between Drake and Ross extended beyond direct exchanges. Public records and leaked communication reveal intermediary transfers to bot and vendors and logistic facilitators, including Nugent, a known recipient of payments linked to clipping and amplification campaigns. Portion of funds transmitted through stake, tipping, and internal transfer passed through to bot vendors and amplification intermediaries to perpetrate and scale manipulation activities. Nugent, known online in forums as Grand Wizard or Grand Wizard Chat N word, which is amazing. Not amazing as in good. It's like, oh, okay, but you're some Vietnamese guy who is a Australian citizen talking like this. Or Grand Wizard CN functioned and appears to continue to function as a broker and operational facilitator for these schemes. He is publicly connected to Weekdays Capital, and the clipping service, which orchestrated paid clipping campaigns intrinsically tied to streaming numbers and influencer content, including campaigns involving Drake and Ross. Nguyen actively promoted and participated in the clipping Discord server and received direct payments from clipping administrators and separately from other co-conspirators. Public posts including corroboration by Ross, who on stream declared, "I'm friends with the Grand Wizard. That's my dog," while tagging Drake's account. And if you know how Adin Ross seems to me, anyway, and that's the issue that I have when when the OGs did not gatekeep hip hop like they should have. They didn't put parameters in. So now you got all these people in here believing, talking about their hip hop, and they're in here doing all of this kind of mess in the name of hip hop. Drake has bet large sums of on stake and live streamed the event, further promoting stake to his millions of followers. Stake.us publicly stated that Drake has been a longtime member of the stake community, and ultimately a partnership was formed in which a new gaming experience will allow users to have a chance to win big alongside Drake. This type of giveaway will be on a magnitude unseen before. And they listed, because there's the listing right here. right here. So you got number 3, and it's listed down here. Drake's journey from player to a partner is documented on Stake's web properties, while Drake's social media accounts identify his partnership with Stake, which they do. If you go to Drake's X account, it's in his profile. So let's go to the consumer harms real quick. Economic overcharge and the loss of benefits of the bargain. Stake.us, a website, represents to consumers that it offers a safe, free, and legal gaming service, when in fact it functions as an illegal online casino. It categorizes itself as a social casino, which it intended to misrepresent the legality of the platform's operations. It masks it real money and gambling platform. It further misleads consumer by identifying in its terms of service certain states where its use is prohibited. Virginia is not among the states identified in this list, thus leaving the impression that using stake is permissible in Virginia. Continuity, continuity and ongoing threat. The enterprise has operated as a continuous coordinated unit, talking about stake.us and stake.com, since at least 2022, defined by its explicit roles. Stake.us is an illegal online casino earning profit by selling consumers gold coins and stake cash, and we've talked about that. And we've also talked about uh, because of this and their tipping scheme, Drake can tip somebody who can then tip the other person, and that other person can cash that money out. And supposedly doing that is causing them to inflate the numbers, Drake's numbers. Additional allegations related to RICO violation. The enterprise and its participants. So they're saying that defendant Stake.us, Drake Ross, and went together with the bot vendors and streaming farm operators are operating as the enterprise, with this purpose to facilitate illegal online gambling and to conceal, route, and distribute proceeds of the scheme through Stake.us pseudo anonymous payment rails, using proceeds and other funds to enrich themselves and to artificially inflate streaming counts on Drake's catalog. Roles in relationship were stable and continuous. Stake at all times served as a gambling platform and money transfer conduit through which payments could be concealed. Drake was paid to promote Stake and received payments through Stake. You know, he said he made $100 million and directed and benefited from artificial streaming and narrative amplification. Ross was paid to promote Stake and finance, promoted, and facilitated the routing of value, including via public and private tipping and a large value transfer on Stake. Yada, yada, yada. Scheme and racketeering acts, operation of illegal gambling business. They've gone over that. Additional use of financial institutes in executing and concealing the scheme. The enterprise utilized domestic and foreign financial institutions and processors to obtain, move, and disguise funds by means of materially false pretenses and omissions regarding the nature and purpose of transaction. So let's get down to the class action allegations. Plaintiffs bring this action individually and on behalf of a class of similarly situated individuals pursuant to Rule 23 of Federal Rules and Civil Procedures. Plaintiffs seek to represent the following classes of persons: all persons in the United States who created an account on or accessed Stake.us and who purchased gold coins bundled with Stake cash and made and lost one or more wagers using Stake cash within the last 3 years. In the alternative, plaintiff seeks to represent the following classes of person: all persons in Virginia who created an account or accessed Stake.us and who purchased gold coins bundled with Stake cash and made and lost one or more wagers using Stake cash within the 3 years. So if y'all have used this stake.us, if you've made opened up an account within the last 3 years, whether you're in Virginia or you're in the rest of the United States of America, you might can join this class action lawsuit. Numerosity. The potential members of the class and each of the subclasses independently are so numerous that joinder of all the members is impracticable. While the precise number of members of the class or each of these subclasses has not been determined, plaintiffs are informed and believe the class and each of the subclasses includes at least thousands of individuals. There are questions of law, in fact, the commonality and the predominance. There are questions of law and fact common to the class that uh, predominate over any questions affecting only individual class members. These common questions of law and fact include, without limitation, A, whether defendants engaged in unfair or deceptive business practices by making the misrepresentation and omission as described herein. B, whether stake.us constitutes an illegal gambling platform in violation of United States and Virginia law. C, whether defendants' conduct constitutes predicate acts of monetary transaction and criminally derived property or other racketeering activity under RICO and the relevant statutory schemes. D, where the defendants were unjustly enriched by proceeds routed through the coordinated schemes. E, where the liability and damages can be established with common proof through the platform, financial tracing, and expert analysis. And F, whether injunctive, declaratory, or other class wide relief is necessary and appropriate to prevent reoccurrence of described conduct. And it goes on talking about typicality, adequacy of representation, superiority of class action. Then it goes back on the counts, and we will just read the counts. We won't go over it because it's usually repetitive language. So, count one is the violation of RICO. And they're saying in the participation of an unlawful enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity against all the defendants. Count two, RICO conspiracy against all defendants. Count three, Virginia Consumer Protection Act violation. And they're praying for relief. Wherefore, plaintiffs individually and on behalf of the class respectfully request that the court enter judgment in their favor and against defendant and award the following relief: certifying this action as a class action, awarding all available damages not less than $5 million, including statutory, compensatory, consequential, punitive, and enhanced damages, ordering restitution, entering injunctive and declaratory relief to prevent further and unlawful conduct, awarding pre and post judgments for attorney fees, and they demand a jury trial. And this is by the Impressa Legal Group. And it's signed by George E. Costo, Esquire, and Richard Kelsey, Esquire, from Virginia. So, y'all, that is the lawsuit. Drake's been sued again. Again and again and again and again. And what do y'all think? What'd you say, Q? From Amazon to Apple Music, you pay for a temporary license. Once their leasing of the music is up and the movie music is taken from the platform, you lose the content and you don't get reimbursed. That's why I agree with this right here. We need to keep physical media alive because you're just basically leasing. They want you to be a leaser, to lease, to rent, never to own. You don't have any recourse after that. Well, y'all, that is you know what's interesting to me? Haven't y'all noticed that Young Money, when you talk about Lil Wayne, Drake, and Nicki, and you see how between 2023 and 2025, almost like the hell that they have gone through, um versus other, because I believe that they're doing inflated numbers, and don't mishear me. Other odd artists are doing the same thing because, again, you as so many people do it, it becomes the norm. Because I remember, wasn't Nicki Minaj mad at what's the guy's name from Astro World, because he bundled his CD or something? He bundled that music with the T-shirt and a cup or something like that, because he bundled that, and then because of that bundle, it knocked her record off, and she was very upset. You remember she went all to Queen Radio and did all of that kind of stuff. But it's just interesting to see how these same people who back probably, let's say, about 7 or 8 years ago, were acting like they were on top. They was the kings and queens of rap, and you couldn't touch them, and you couldn't touch them because of uh their artistry and all this other stuff. And now we're starting to figure out that their artistry was what it was, but they were inflating their numbers. Travis Scott, thank you. That they were inflating the numbers. And I don't know how old y'all, but this is giving me Millie Vanilli vibes. Just there's some fakery and trickery and all kinds of stuff going on in the background. Meanwhile, they're winning awards and all this other stuff. And should they have won the awards because of their streaming numbers? I mean, can we go back? Is there a way to go back to check to see whether or not that their streaming numbers were inflated by these bot farms? And if so, is that a false, I don't want to say false fame, but is their rise false? Have they been paying bots all this time? Because, like I said, they were the streaming artists. They were here when all this streaming and stuff coming on. They were on the tail end of physical music, but on the forefront of all of this digital music and digital stuff. Interesting. So again, this is the they've got several lawsuits as listed in this thing. I only knew about the Missouri one, but I guess I'm going to check out the other ones to see how they're being sued as well. But I'm wondering if all of these lawsuits are triggering the DOJ. I forgot about old Jessica Simpson. Wanting to know if chicken of the sea was actually chicken or was it pig. But to give props, the Jessica Simpson shoes back in the day, they were nice. They were actually nice. I liked her shoe. I don't know if she's still in the shoe game or not, but I liked her shoes. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting. And what's interesting to me, and again, I don't want to get into, Drake and Kendrick Lamar, but it just always seems interesting how when he set that lawsuit out against UMG and Spotify and all of those people, how he knew about that stuff. Because I said it before, I think that he was engaged in it, and he thought that Kendrick Lamar was engaged in it. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't know if Kendrick Lamar was engaged in stuff like this or not, but Drake thought he was. And Drake, he knew he couldn't sue him directly. So he was trying to sue him indirectly, and it backfired on him enormously. Enormously. All right, people. We do this every week. So please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video if you care. Y'all, what do y'all think about Drake and these new lawsuits? Again, when I find the Tyler Perry lawsuit, I definitely will get that and we'll go over that lawsuit. But child, thank you, Q. Thank you. But child, all of this stuff is a mess. All right, people, we do this every week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video if you care. Y'all, please tell a friend, tell a kin, tell a coworker, tell that heifer that you can't stand that I'm over here making these videos. And as always, people, bye-bye.